It is my great pleasure to introduce a dear, dear friend of mine who is also on our board of directors of Spiritual Unity Movement, Dr. Kathleen Ayl. Dr. Kathleen Ayl is a clinical psychologist specializing in sharing the gifts in grief. She is the author of several books, and the latest is When Healing Hurts, and it's available at Amazon and other bookstores. I don't think she has a copy tonight.
I have a copy.
Oh, you do? You have one copy?
The last book?
Yes.
Yes, I just put a copy there.
So,
I didn't know
where can people get it if they want it?
It's on the cards. It'll say the places,
okay.
The publisher, or Amazon, or Barnes & Noble.
Compassion and love go hand in hand when we think of Kathleen. Her presence, she's already orchestrated this scene. Anyway, let me tell you what I think about Kathleen. When Kathleen told me that when she was young, she went to India and served with Mother Teresa. Now, I don't know anyone else in my realm that has ever got to serve with Mother Teresa. She is a beautiful, beautiful spirit. She works from Santa Barbara all the way to Culver City at many veterinary offices and hospitals doing grief support work with people that have lost you know, those dear, beautiful pets of ours that we treat like our children. I see 2 or 3 of them are here tonight.
I'm going to join them, but I
so
have
that's
an
perfect. So without further ado, let me bring up my dear, dear friend and beautiful heart, Kathleen.
I want to thank Nancy for that beautiful, beautiful introduction. And thank you all for being here. When the devastation of loss breaks us down, we are given an opportunity to see and to recognize more fully the only thing that truly matters, the connections and the relationships that we share with others, the interconnectedness of all life, of all that lives, of all sentient beings. This is a gift. We are talking tonight about the gifts of grief. As the Buddhists say, when you are ready to die, only then are you ready to live. Grief and loss are the most difficult and painful emotions that living beings are forced to face. And what we know about grief is that the intensity of the grief is in direct proportion to the intensity of the relationship shared, and that is regardless of species. Whether we are talking about human to human or human to pet relationships, how much we grieve is always and only about how deep of a connection we have shared. Just as love is love, grief is grief. It is normal and it is natural, and yet, because we are not taught about death, typically in Western cultures, and worse, we are not encouraged to talk about it, there is a large amount of fear and uncomfortableness around it. Some act as if talking about death or being around someone who has just experienced a significant loss is somehow contagious. And I have consequently and very sadly heard one too many times of how someone is grieving the loss of a love, and is being avoided at the same time by friends or family members. This is fear. I am so grateful that each and every one of you are here tonight. I feel so blessed every time I walk into the Onion. But tonight, I can feel and I know and I see the compassionate and beautiful souls that surround me. A lot of people over the years have asked why I chose death and dying and grief and loss as a career choice. And the truth is, it kind of chose me. I absolutely did not wake up one morning and say, I think I want to deal with death and dying. That sounds like fun, right? No, it was more of a progression, a roadmap, if you will, and one that I didn't even know I was on until I was quite far along with my journey. In essence, the journey looks something like this. I was a child with an obsession for learning about all world religions and cultures. While in elementary school, I read every book in the school library in the religion, the culture, and of course the animal section. Even the librarian found my quest for knowledge a bit odd. During that time, I came across 2 lines in a tiny little book on Catholicism, and it mentioned a nun who received a calling from God at the age of 14 and consequently left her home and her family in Albania to dedicate her life to the poorest of the poor in Calcutta, India. Those 2 lines were where my map began. My desire to meet her and help her in any way I could was overwhelming. However, I came upon some very lengthy roadblocks. My parents could give me no information on how I could find her, for they did not even know who she was. My teacher was clueless, and I was distraught. Back then, when I was a kid, parents and teachers were supposed to know everything, right? This was before we could Google our nun. Despite the setbacks, my quest continued. I asked the local rabbi and my piano teacher, and neither of them were able to help. My next plan involved convincing my best friend Stephanie's parents to take me with them to a Sunday Mass. After, of course, I had asked them if they knew Mother Teresa. They didn't know who I was talking about either. They were very strict people, and I think the only reason they said yes is they had so many kids. It was kind of like, what's one more? And then suddenly the Sunday that I'd been waiting for arrived, and I thought, now I am going to get my answer. I went, paper and pencil in hand, and I waded through the entire service, which I have to admit was quite fascinating, and I couldn't help myself from asking a million questions, probably far too many, about the symbolism and the meaning behind it. The answers which I got were mostly, I don't know, or shh. Finally, the time came and I got in the line to speak to the priest after the service had concluded. I was so excited I was shaking. His answer to my question was that he had never heard of her. First lesson in non-attachment for me and mindfulness, for I had set myself up for quite a fall. In time, though, I never forgot those 2 lines in that little tiny book, but I did find a host of other things to study and to learn about. Fast forward now, okay? Fast forward through junior high and most of high school. While I was still a teen, I attended a UCLA fraternity party with a couple of my friends that were already attending school there. Little did I know that the handsome guy who had asked me to dance several times that evening would soon become my husband. We were married, and I soon found myself a part of the amazing and wonderful Iyengar family of Calcutta. Wow. It was not until my in-laws came to visit that I learned of their very strong connection to my hero of two lines, Mother Teresa. The Iyengars had helped her and were close to her ever since she first came to Calcutta. I booked the soonest plane out. Let's speed forward again. I loved being in India. I loved being with the Iyengars, and I loved being with Mother Teresa and volunteering in the orphanage, Shushababan. One day, however, I was encouraged to go to a place called the Home for the Dying on the outskirts of Calcutta instead of working at my orphanage, to which I was addicted. This was another of Mother's facilities, which housed people who were not treatable, mostly from the streets, and therefore they were dying of leprosy, tuberculosis, and fatal injuries, many from cars, buses, bicycles, and motorcycles. And the only thing that the volunteers were required to do there was to hold and love these people as they were dying, surrounding them with respect and with dignity that they deserved. I am ashamed to admit it, but I had bought into the Western culture's take on death and dying, and I was filled with fear that the place that I was heading for would be more dark and depressing than anything I had ever experienced. I could not have been more wrong. Instead of the darkness, I found light. Instead of depression, I found acceptance and even joy. These beautiful beings knew that death was but the final phase of the journey of the vehicle of their souls, and that their souls were residing in this lifetime, but that death was not an ending. They taught me the true meaning of being fully present in every moment, and that all that truly matters is love. This was another invaluable gift. Sometimes death is the greatest teacher in life. It puts things in perspective, and it forces you into realizing the importance of not assuming that you will have time to tell someone that you love them, time to tell someone that you're sorry, or time to tell someone that you're grateful for their presence in your life. Without death, we would not fully understand life. We do not need to be afraid. In the majority of the deaths that I have been privileged to be a part of and to witness, it has come as a great relief and a beautiful passing. Please give others permission to die when it is their time, but when you do so, give yourself permission to live. If you didn't have a chance to say all of the things that you would have liked to, allow yourself a forgiveness ceremony or an acknowledgement ceremony, depending on the situation. Rituals are highly effective in promoting healing from grief and loss. I commend you for being here and respect you greatly. For most in our culture would have heard the word grief and would have ran as quickly as possible the other way. And as amazing as our culture is, and it is, it lacks in how to deal with issues of death and dying, grief and loss, because for the most part, it just doesn't. And it discourages us from coming close to anything that reminds us of what is simply the completion of the body's life cycle. The body's, not the soul's. We therefore, in general, have an uncomfortableness with matters of death and dying, and worse, we avoid certain populations, such as the elderly, in order to not have to deal with or to think about issues of our own mortality. This blatant disrespect of our precious elderly is an outrage, and it breaks my heart. Grief will open up a new path for us, but we must be prepared to follow that path in order to receive its gifts. We prepare through mindfulness, through meditation, and through compassion. If we are not open to the gifts of grief, we cannot be open to all that life has to give us, nor to the value of each and every moment we have here on earth. Death and grief open us up to the importance of now. Not dwelling in the past, nor spinning out on what might happen. It brings us only to that which we have before us in this very moment. And take a look around you. Look at where you are. Look at who you are surrounded by, and tell me that you are not blessed in this moment, for I know that I certainly am. Learning to be in the moment, to be mindful, is another gift that grief gives us. Fear, which is always about something in the future, is eliminated when we are able to stay fully present. It even allows us to stop fearing death. Fear doesn't change the future, it simply ruins our now. The death of many of my loved ones has allowed me the gift of each and every moment that I am blessed to share with all who are precious to me. I don't take time for granted because of death. I am grateful always for the time I do have, and I dive in and I strive to remain fully present in those most blessed moments. When grieving, allow your feelings to move through you, even the most painful ones. Look at them, honor them, and let them go. Don't run from them. Don't numb from them. Don't create chaos to hide from them. These things have all been done before, and they don't work. For you must release the toxic and the painful energy rather than burying it deep within inside you, only to come out at some time in the future in the form of anxiety, depression, or disease. Rather, allow it to come out. Surround yourself with your support system, if possible, and talk about it. Be congruent, be honest, and let it all out with someone who truly wants to listen. Writing and journaling are also powerful ways of releasing negative thoughts and emotions. Physical exercise can also be very helpful, as can finding an aspect of your loved one's personality that you admired or something that he or she cared greatly about. and memorialize them by living out that which you admired most. Do it in their name, or volunteer to help another being in their name. Through these acts, your loved one not only continues to live in your heart, but in the interactions that you have with others and through the good deeds that you give to people, to pets, and to organizations in their name. Another means of releasing your pain, which is extremely powerful, is done through accessing your creativity. Remember, we store pain and emotional memory in our bodies, in our cells. Let us work it out, if we can. Work it out of our bodies through our creative endeavors. This can be done through any sort of movement, through dance, through yoga, through Tai Chi, pottery, painting, drawing, knitting, cooking, sewing, gardening, writing poetry or music, playing a musical instrument, singing, creating collages or memory albums. The list is endless. Many have told me over the years that they have no creative outlet, but when gently pushed, each has been able to find it. Sometimes we discover because of our grief a talent that we didn't know we had, and this is another gift of grief. One such client of mine knew that she was a talented and well-respected singer, but it was not until the loss of her beloved horse that she found that she was equally as talented as a painter. Not only was her painting a gift to her that sprung solely from the enormity of her pain, it became a gift to hundreds of others grieving the loss of their pets as she went on to create a business which provides memorial paintings of people's pets. All of this was done in honor of her horse, which helped her through her own healing, helps others through their healing, and provides her with a sense of fulfillment in helping others. This is yet another gift of grief, compassion. Releasing our grief is a process that unfolds little by little, in its own time. Trust it, allow it to unfold, honor whatever comes up, including the tears, which are simply another way of releasing the pain through our bodies. Just as important as practicing compassion and forgiveness is towards others, practicing compassion and forgiveness of the self is essential in coming to terms with the loss of a loved one. It allows us to feel and relate more easily to the pain of others, which teaches us to be more empathetic. Yet another gift from grief. Mindfulness allows us to see fully and without judgment. Through it, we bring our full presence to this world and all the beings that we encounter. Mindfulness liberates us from reacting to and being caught off guard by things and to the attachments of this world. Grief and loss allow us a connection with the strength and the wisdom each of us has. If we can open to the pain, we must be able to do this in order to gain the greatest intensity and meaning in all of our remaining and future relationships. But again, we must live our innermost truth, and grief and loss forces us to do this. Think about this question. You don't have to answer it right now. How do you protect yourself from the enormity of the pain of your grief or your anticipatory grief throughout your lifetime? There is also a gift of being forced into, if you will, a deeper relationship with Spirit, where there is no time or place for that which is false or pretentious. Grief breaks us down to our core, which is purely spirit. Sometimes it is the intensity of our grief that allows us a way back to the purity of having an authentic relationship with spirit in all forms. Ironic as it seems, the true source of our healing comes from allowing ourselves to dive into the pain, recognize our vulnerability, feeling each and every one of our feelings while honoring them at the same time. The intense longing, the anger, the loneliness, and the despair. And thereby, we allow them to pass through us rather than getting stuck and doing us even more harm. By feeling, we find our way back into living, and most often with a heightened sense of compassion and caring for others, which of course is a gift. Death gives life value. It gives us the permission to follow our hearts and the lesson of the value of doing what you love. What would you do if you were told that today was the last day of your life? That's what death and grief have given me. Remembering death is the surest way of reminding myself of my life, and that in terms of death there is really nothing left to lose. Dive in, as I tell my clients. What have you got to lose? Listen to your own voice, and it will tell you. Don't even consider doing what someone else is telling you to do. That is their thoughts, not yours. Transformation and liberation are often the result of confronting traumatic loss, and are yet two more gifts that grief provides. We must meet our grief and our sorrows with compassion in order to transform them, for if not, our sorrow can become our identity, which is something that I have witnessed way too many times. No matter how much pain you have had to sustain, and I know it's hard, but joy and fulfillment are meant to be yours again. Dive into that next cup of coffee or tea. Put your cell phone aside when someone comes to speak to you, regardless if you think it's important. Let them know that at this moment they are the most important being on the earth to you. Do the same thing with your pets. Give each of them some alone time while focused on the wonder of the gifts that they give. Unconditional love, non-judgment, and a 24-hour on-call teacher in mindfulness. Thank you, guys. I have often said and still believe that the animals are amongst my greatest teachers, for they are mindful and always present and in the now. The deep attention of being mindful promotes our greatest healing. Another gift of grief is learning to be more compassionate with yourself and others. Life continually renews itself, and you too are meant to renew you. At some point, rid yourself of the fear and allow yourself to feel the gift of true liberation. I am so proud now to invite up a beautiful being to demonstrate to us the power that movement and dance can have on healing our greatest sorrows. After she begins the dance, I will be inviting the rest of you up to join her to release all of the pain and all of the sorrow that you carry deep within. For those who do not wish to participate in dance or movement, our own guru of drum circles, Burl, has graciously provided us with drums of all sorts behind me, in order that you too can experience the healing that can come from accessing your creativity by gently playing along with the song as the others continue their dance. Remember this: there is no right or wrong way to be creative. And remember too that your gifts will only be recognized if we are prepared to follow and be fully open to our journey through loss. Now I'd like you to join me in welcoming my beautiful future granddaughter, Michelle Alexander. Can we turn the lights down just a bit, please? Thank you, Frank. Okay. Yeah, that number 8. Thank you, Frank.
Just the way that we are tied in, that there's no harm.
participating and making this such a special night and such an important and healing night. I believe Liz is going to be passing out some crystals that Spiritual Unity Movement is gifting to you tonight. We want you to feel the crystals that are being passed in a basket and take the one which calls you. Sometimes throughout life, and when we are grieving certainty, we need to have something to hold on to. Sometimes it feels like we have nothing to hold on to. And so take these crystals. Choose the one that calls you, as I said, and keep them with you as something to hold. I'm going to be doing a guided meditation right now. You are going to be rinsed one more time as you were with Burl when he did the beautiful opening. So, if you're ready to begin, shall I wait till the crystals are finished? Okay. Are there any questions before we move on to our guided meditation? And oh, let me say this. Thank you. Thank you so much to our beautiful Michelle. That was amazing. You guys don't know this, but Michelle never does anything that's not amazing. It's true. I want to thank not all, but a bunch of my kids for being here. I want to thank all of the dogs. We have 5 here tonight. Doesn't get better than that, right? So no questions. I must be good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Did you guys all get crystals on this side? Okay, good. And you guys? Okay.
I got my cookies.
Oh, yeah. Who is that?
London didn't get her crystal.
Aww. Liz London needs a crystal. She's got a few around her neck already. Which one you want, Barney? Which one? Which one, London? They're thinking, ooh, dog food.
Everybody has?
Does everybody have? Yes. Good. Are we ready to start our guided meditation? To relax again into the healing. And putting our feet flat on the floor, finding a comfortable position in which to sit, and to gently close our eyes. And now taking in a deep breath in and out, and again, in and out. And now while breathing, gently noticing if you are holding sorrow or pain or tension anywhere in your body, and if so, breathing in and releasing it on the out breath, unwinding and letting go. Let your exhale continue to carry any sense of vulnerability, the disappointments, the aching, the longing, the anger, the fear, and the grief that you have been carrying, knowing that it is known and it is understood deep compassion. Continue being aware of your breath, letting your breathing pattern be what it is, but observing and watching as your belly rises and falls, as you feel yourself becoming more and more relaxed. If you get distracted, simply notice it without judgment and gently and compassionately bring your attention back to the breath. And now, imagining yourself in a beautiful, peaceful place, feeling the goodness of this special place with each breath you take. Notice the colors, the sounds, the entities and the energies around you, and know that you are safe and loved as you pull in all that is good, all that is interconnected, and let go of all that is negative. And now, imagining a gentle fountain of warm, healing white light pouring down over your head to the top of your head and filling your head and your neck, and then your shoulders, your arms, your hands, and your fingers. This loving energy fills every cell of your body, and you know somehow that you are safe. Feel the warm white light move through your chest and down into your stomach, filling all of your organs while it continues to wash away the pain, all feelings of disconnection, all delusion and impurity deep into the center of Mother Earth. You realize now that you are being filled by Spirit and that you possess the perfection and wholeness of the divine. Let your light of love continue to flow through you and out the bottom of your feet into the loving arms of Mother Earth, and allow it to be felt by all sentient beings everywhere. Allow it to connect all living beings and to bless those who are with us in body and those who have already made their transition. The white light of perfection is now vibrating and pulsating, connecting all the beings on the planet, blessing all who assemble with the intention to love, to heal, and to do away with all delusion of separateness, to seek connection with all that has been created, and to be filled with the love of the oneness. And now, taking a few minutes in silence to feel that connection, to feel the compassion that surrounds you. know that your beautiful energy has been a part of creating something wonderful here, and that you have helped in creating a place of healing and connecting and compassion in our world healing ceremony tonight. Know that you will continue to share your gift, your love for all beings, through the beauty of your own light, the beauty which is you. And now, when you are ready, slowly and gently, bringing your awareness back into the room and the present time, and taking a deep breath in when you are ready, gently opening your eyes. May you all be held in the arms of compassion, and always remember that I value each and every one of you, and I'm so grateful for your presence tonight. Thank you.
Let's give her some love. More love and more love. I don't know about you, but I don't even want to talk. So instead of me talking right away, let's open our programs to the closing invocation and say this together. Father, Mother, God and Goddess, thank you for the blessings we have received. Be with us now as we leave this sacred circle and go forth into our daily lives, taking the energy generated here tonight out into our homes, our work, the people we love, and all we touch. May we be your open channels into this world each day. I know you all are feeling it. I just thought that was just so beautiful. And I know for myself, I lost my sister and my brother, who were very, I was the oldest of 4 children, so I thought that was impossible. But if it hadn't been for singing and for finding that creative outlet, I don't think I would have survived. And I think knowing that we have these beautiful beings on the earth that are here to support us is so important. So I know Kathleen has her cards in the back and will be here afterwards if you have any questions for her.